what we're seeing in a lot of organizations basically is, there's an explosion of applications and servers. Data is starting to overwhelm IT. Of course, I'm not telling you guys anything, but certainly I think you can see, as we look back on the horizon, you can tell from my gray hair, or my lack of hair, I should say, I'm an old mainframe guy. Back in the mainframe days when I was at ComDisco, people came in to do their DR tests, they brought their tapes in, and they reserved one computer. It was a mainframe. Now we're looking at organizations, where there's literally hundreds and sometimes there's even thousands of servers, and you start thinking of thousands of servers. How do you recover all of that? So what you end up with is too much to recover and not enough time in order to do it. One of the interesting sidelines or observations I made from watching different organizations recover from 9/11 is that, the disaster happened almost in an instant. Okay? But recovery for a lot of organizations took weeks to months. And in some cases, it was like a year or even longer before they were actually back and running in a brand new data center, or even going, the ability to go back home again. So what you have is, a case of really, how do you recover all that? Certainly we can protect all the data with, mirroring and replication techniques, but when you start talking about failing over servers, do you have the manpower, do you have the people power in order to fail over all those servers? We go through and we do, business impact analysis or risk analysis, and we figure out what the most important applications are. In a lot of cases, you're going to invest in the most important things, right? And a lot of times, and what we discovered, or one of the fallouts from 9/11 is that the business impact analysis process was flawed. Things that people thought were the most important things weren't. Case in point, major money center bank in New York, they were responsible for clearing transactions for Wall Street, okay, for the markets. Okay? So this event occurred, markets were down, they were shut down. They were able to fail over and bring those applications up and have them running in a ComDisco recovery center, but guess what? Nobody needed it. Wall Street was completely shut down, all the exchanges were still shut down. What they didn't recover was their ATMs, okay? There was weeks before the ATMs came back up again, and they were literally skewered in the press because they didn't have their ATMs up. What if we could eliminate disaster recovery? Okay, I'm a contrarian here. Does that kind of scare everybody to say get rid of disaster recovery? What if you could take your high availability and transform it to continuous availability? Think about it. In your organizations, which gets more money? High availability expenditures or disaster recovery? I'll bet you if you're like most organizations, the high availability is like almost automatic. Okay? In disaster recovery, you're fighting and you're scrimping for money all the time, right? And just conceptually, if you look at the nomenclature, what's N? N is the need. Okay? So in a high availability architecture, N plus 1 is the need plus 1, which is your failover. Okay? Something standby and ready to fail over. And my suggestion is that moving some of the architecture from N plus 1 to 2N. What's 2N? 2N just means parallel. Okay? You've got two devices up and running, parallel, load balance between them, running the need. And so conceptually here, if we took that clustered environment and spread it out between two data centers and replicate the data in between. Kind of a scary concept, and certainly it doesn't make sense for every aspect within your infrastructure, but certainly if you look at individual servers and stuff like that, why can't you take it and split it between two data centers?